Hey there, comic enthusiasts, and welcome to Little Hand Comics' first ever video. I'm really excited to have you here, and even more excited that Future State has started. Right now, we're going to go ahead and take a look at Future State Wonder Woman number 1. We're going to talk about what goes on in the issue, and then we're going to discuss my thoughts on it. We can deal with all the introduction stuff after, so grab your lasso of truth and strap in. So, Future State Wonder Woman number 1 just came out this past Tuesday, which I believe was January 5th, 2021. Future State Wonder Woman number 1 is written and drawn by Joelle Jones, and we've got Jordi Belair on colors, and Clayton Cowles took care of the lettering. So the issue opens up and we're deep within the Amazon rainforest, because we all know that all Wonder Women must have at least one story that takes place in the Amazon rainforest. The narrator tells us that they are starting the story at the beginning, but the end is not the end. They talk about Zeus and Tupa, another god, and how they can't tell us about what came before. Next thing you know though, we got the new Wonder Woman and she is kicking ass. She's fighting some big monsters, she looks amazing, she kills it without even breaking a sweat, and the whole thing is just a really awesome introduction to Yara. Except, the fight isn't over. This monster gets up, it's a Hydra, it's pissed off, Wonder Woman's doing her best to fight it, she's calling for her buddy Jerry, Jerry's a Pegasus, he doesn't want to come, he's having a peaceful drink, I wouldn't want to go to the fight either. Eventually, Jerry decides to show up, Yara hops on, and together they finally kill the Hydra. After the battle, while she's dealing with the Hydra's corpse, some little girl named Kaepora shows up, and she is not impressed at all that Yara wants to try taking the Hydra's horn. She has a thing against poaching, and she is not stoked. For those of you who don't know, Kaepora is actually a figure in Tupi-Guarani mythology in Brazil. Apologies if I butchered any of that, by the way, I'm not entirely sure on the pronunciation. Now, this makes sense considering the new Wonder Woman is Brazilian. Her name means inhabitant of the forest, and she's actually usually portrayed as a little boy, though it has happened before that she's been portrayed as a little girl. She's also something of a trickster. It's fairly interesting, and I definitely recommend reading up on it. All my info just comes from a brief glance at the Wikipedia page, just because I wanted some sort of background for who these characters were. Let's get back to Wonder Woman, though. So, Yara makes her intentions clear. She's going to see Hades to get one of her sister warriors back, and if Hades refuses to give her back, she is going to kill him with the Hydra horn. Kaepora agrees to get Yara to the underworld if she agrees to leave the horn behind. So after coming to an agreement, Kaepora opens the portal and they are off. When they reach the underworld, it takes the appearance of an airport or some kind of transportation hub. And after Yara has something of a minor mental breakdown, Kaepora and Yara continue their way through this transportation hub. Here it's also implied that the underworld looks different based on one's own perceptions, which means that Yara really does have something against airports. When they reach where they're going, they find that they're at the river Styx, where all the boats are departing for wherever they're going. But when they reach the front of the line, Yara doesn't have any money to pay, and because she has no fare, she's sent to the back of the line, and she is not happy with this at all. With Kaepora's help though, Yara manages to steal some currency from the guy in front of them. This just so happens to be a sumo wrestler who is now trapped for all eternity. He's screwed. So he's not exactly happy. He turns around, he's pissed at Yara, and she just casually tosses him aside, but lo and behold, Cerberus shows up, and now he's not happy, and the issue ends there. Alright, so Future State Wonder Woman number 1 was easily my favorite of the Future State books thus far. It was cleverly written, exciting, fun, beautiful to look at. The whole thing was energetic from start to finish, and the best part of all of that is that Yara was actually a really fun character. I was really worried about this one too, since this comic seemed to be the one that was getting the most attention. Luckily, even though this is a different kind of Wonder Woman, she still captures the essence of what the character should be. She's not just a reskin of Diana, and she's not a new Wonder Girl either. In just one issue, Yara has managed to solidify herself as a character that we should be keeping an eye on. She's fierce, she's funny, her design is cool, and she manages to stand out even in an event that's full of new characters taking the spotlight. Even though it feels like maybe not too much happened during this issue, I think the issue was meatier than you think. This issue had to juggle a lot of things. It had to introduce a new character, new concepts, as well as the overall plot of this short Future State series, all in just one issue. So when you look at it that way, I think it was pretty successful. Just the aesthetic of Yara is interesting enough, and I'm sorry, but her sword is way cooler than Diana's. It's all spiky. The art is really cool in and of itself, but when combined with Belair's colors, it really pops. I also have so many questions about what those ball things are that she throws at Kaepora. Are they similar to the Lasso of Truth? Because they seem to have a similar glow. Does it have any additional powers? Hopefully issue number 2 gives us a better insight into what Yara's additional abilities and equipment are. Yara herself is honestly fantastic. She oozes charisma and personality. She's funny, she kicks ass. She is a little headstrong though, and it looks like she might be something of a stubborn character. I don't think she's going to be everyone's cup of tea, but for me personally, I really enjoyed her. She obviously knows how to fight, but the most interesting aspect to me was how little she seems to know about Greek mythology. This is interesting because Wonder Woman has almost always been tied to Greek mythology, but Yara seems downright ignorant about needing payment to get to the underworld. I haven't read too much about Yara other than what's in this issue, but I'm assuming she must be part of a separate tribe of Amazons. If this is the case, I'd love to see the Wonder Woman comics pick this thread up and see the two tribes of Amazons interact, because that could be really cool. The supporting characters in this issue also deserve a shout out. Kaepora was cool, but Jerry deserves an extra special mention. We don't know much about Jerry, but we can infer a few things based on this issue. For starters, Jerry don't take no crap. He is a strong, independent Pegasus, and he don't need no Wonder Woman. Secondly, he got a mouth on him. He rude. I bet he swears. Third, he is awesome. Kaepora looks really cool, and I like the idea of the mischievous imp type character. I don't think she's going to flat out be an antagonist, but she does say herself that her and Yara are not friends. Also, what the hell does Yara have against airports? With all that being said, Future State Wonder Woman #1 was a whole lot of fun. It was way better than I expected, but that could just be because I didn't really have very high expectations to begin with. I'm looking forward to the next issue, but what I'm looking forward to even more than that is seeing Yara in the main DC continuity post-Future State. She's also got a CW show coming, and that could be really good if it's done right. I'm personally a huge fan of the Arrowverse. There's still so many questions surrounding this new version of Wonder Woman and how she fits in both the rest of the Future State titles and the main DC continuity once Future State ends. Truth be told, we're not even 100% sure what's going to happen with Diana going forward. There was some weird stuff at the end of Dark Knight's Death Metal #7. But with how well Yara has been received thus far though, I wouldn't be surprised if she took the spotlight in the main Wonder Woman titles for a little while. That's only if she doesn't get her own ongoing series going forward. I'd be okay with either though. I honestly just want to see more Yara. For now though, if you're wondering which Future State titles to pick up, I'd say this one for sure. It's exciting, it's fun, and I can't wait to see what comes next for our new Brazilian Wonder Woman. That brings us to the end of this review. So with that being said, I just want to thank anyone who clicked on this and watched it through to the end. I'm really excited about Future State, and I'm even more excited to keep making videos on it. With that being said, I'm open to any suggestions on which books you'd like me to cover next, even if it's not specifically a Future State book. If you have any suggestions for how I could be doing things better, I'm also open to those too. I'd love constructive criticism. This was really fun to make, and I'm hoping to make a lot more of these in the future. If you want to stick around though and see all the Future State content I'm planning over the next 2 months, can you do me a huge favor and just hit the subscribe button, hit that bell, leave a comment, tell me what you thought about Yara, Wonder Woman, all that YouTube stuff that you guys are always asked to do. If you could do it for me, I would be really, really appreciative. With that being said, I hope I see you all next time. I'm not sure which Future State book I'm going to do next, but it's probably going to be one of the first 4. Thanks, and I hope I see you all soon.